In the year 2049, the world's most popular motorsport is the immortal Grand Prix.
Welcome to the beginning of this season's IG1 Grand Prix!
Get ready, folks! Sparks will fly!
Takashi Jin could be its greatest pilot ever.
He's got a style that's different from anything I've ever seen.
If he can just get over being a teenager.
Takashi, stay focused! What are you doing?
I'm winning this thing!
Watch out! You're gonna crash!
This season, Takashi and Team Satomi hit the big leagues on a quest to take the crown.
We want to be champions. We work as a team.
You know, I don't like you.
Give me one more day to find a sponsor.
The only thing standing in their way? 180 miles of track. And 5 teams determined to win.
I don't think anyone can beat Bellstein with me at forward.
All at 350 miles an hour.
You're in the big leagues now, Hot Shot.
They wouldn't have it any other way. From the studio that brought you Ghost in the Shell, Cartoon Network is proud to present the first Toonami original series, IGPX. Premiering Saturday, November 5th at 10 p.m.
Come on, Takashi. I'll take you apart. Watch out, Takashi. It's a trap.
Life in the fast lane.
Say goodbye, you little bug.
Only Toonami.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you remember that gem, then you are an OG. You are who it is and who you should be. Welcome back. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live Sakuga Breakdown. Yes, it is IGPX. A short or cut that I saw in a video a little while back. And let's go ahead and look at something here. So I was watching a video and I realized there was a cut there that was extremely well animated, and I wanted to find out what in the world is this. As soon as I saw the cut, I went ahead and researched it. I looked at the animation and I instantly thought of the opening for Cowboy Bebop, you know, the opening for the Cowboy Bebop movie. Or there's another scene in the first Naruto movie where the same animation style was implemented. And those two just clicked. I was just like, this has to be the same person. But it's two different people. It's two different animators who actually animated this style, and they're both phenomenal. But let's go ahead, and every time I actually have the name of the animator, I like to go ahead and share it. So it's Hiroyuki Hiroyuki Okiura. I hope I didn't butcher the name. I'm trying to get it as smooth as possible. So Mr. Hiroyuki is the animator, or the initial or the principal animator of this cut that we're going to go over here today. And the main source that I wanted to go over was the framing. After looking over this cut and looking at each frame and looking at each drawing, it is an insane use of a different mixture of frame spacing, ranging from 1s to, I kid you not, 6 frames. One picture would last 6 frames. And this is crazy. That totally takes out it removes all kind of rules that I already had set up for the whole framing system. And that's interesting how the play and the use of frame spacing and the patience between each drawing and in between, and you don't even know which one's a keyframe. You can tell which one's a keyframe, but each frame is so seamless and so smooth, so well drawn out, so well calculated. It's great. I can tell you, this gentleman is in a league of his own, and it's obviously prominent. Especially, that even goes back to the last live stream where we went over the crux or the foundation of Sakuga animation and how each animator sets themselves apart in their own venue. And this gentleman right here, Hiroyuki, has definitely done so. I'd like to mention or give a shout out to the animators. I said before, if I'm able to get their name, if you believe that there's any other animator in this shot or in this cut that was present or helped him out, please go ahead and leave a comment in the description so that that person can be known. But let's go ahead and get down into the breakdown. Let's go ahead. So I have the cut here, starting out at frame 1, and everything lasts out onto 3032 frames. Okay, we're gonna go into a full canvas view here. We're gonna bring this up and we're gonna squish this down here so you can get a better view. And what I'm gonna do here so you can get a better view of the framing, we're gonna go ahead and space this out. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so you can see the frame in here. So after going over each frame or going over each individual picture in this cut, you can see how many frames were executed in just one pose or just one movement or one action. And before we move on, I would like to go ahead and let you know, if you're in the chat, we're going to go ahead and go over the breakdown first and have everything laid out, and any questions that are needed to be presented, you can go ahead and ask at the end of the breakdown. We can go over and discuss any type of questions that might be needed to answered. So right now, the main focus of the of this part, just go ahead and go over the breakdown in its full entirety. So you can see as a general view how much in-betweens and how many frames are in this one cut. And I went over the most important parts here, which I wanted to go over, and that was the standing, these action scenes, and even this marvel that we're even going to get into moving forward. So let's go ahead. We don't have to praise the art in the animation. Obviously, it's sublime. But what I want to go over here, or what I want to focus on in this breakdown, is the implementation of patience and framing, and the difference between each and both of them, and the importance between both of them as well. So let's go over framing real quick. Well, let's go over framing first. So let's go ahead and get this open here. We'll go ahead and perfectly align that right there. And what I want to do first is actually show the animation. There is no music behind the animation, just the cut itself. So let's go ahead and watch that first. Play that. This is 24 frames per second. "24 frames per second." You can see the smoothness. And you can see where I did the comparison between the Cowboy Bebop opening and the Cowboy Bebop movie opening, and the there's this one walk scene in Naruto that I could bring up at another time that I believe that was by him, and it's just the movement. You can tell which series that he did this that he worked on. I can tell you right now off the bat he worked on what's it called, Ghost in the Shell. And after researching him, found out he did do some work in Ghost in the Shell. So if you want to go ahead and research him or look him up, you can go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and leave a link in the description here for him. And this shot right here, perfect, what I wanted to go over. And I wanted to demonstrate this one live with everybody. And there it goes. And we'll go ahead and stop that before it repeats. Shrink that down. And I got the source material off of Sakuga Brewer. So if you want to go ahead and look up his information or look up his work on Sakuga Brewer, you can. And I'll even list his name down in the chat as well. All right. So now let's go over the frames. So the framing. Real simple. Look at each frame. This is what surprised me. This is what broke everything for me. So 24 frames per second, I generally thought to get a smooth animation, and my own ignorance, I generally thought to get a smooth animation and to get precision between your keyframes and your in-betweens, you had to stick to a certain formula of 2s if you want it really smooth, but it will be fast depending on your own patience. You would have to go down to 1s, and then if there was any kind of holds or anything, you would go into the 3s and the 4s. But I knew if you use 3s and 4s, you were risking a little bit of lag between your frames. If you're using 2s, it's not going to be as smooth, it's going to be a little bit jittery. But this threw everything out the water for me. This just shows how ignorant I was in framing. So you can see, let's go ahead and correct this one here. It goes in from 2s, 3s, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And to do the frame counting, I just start from the initial frame, then I start 1, 2, 3, and then once it goes onto that last frame, that's that final count. There's 2 ways to count the frames. I'll go ahead and make a video on that one next. You can either start on the frame itself, so on the frame, 1, 2, 3, bop, next frame, or you can start after the frame or after the indication. So it would be 1, 2, 3, bop, and then you can start over again. So there's 2 different ways you can do that that counting real quick. So let's go ahead and go back into this. So as you can see, easy standing motion. Everything flows smoothly. And the framework goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is just throwing me off. his framing, or just the using of framing and space in between each picture is just incredible. And with this breakdown, I just want to show not my knowledge, but I want to show my ignorance in terms of how I didn't even know that you could utilize framing in this manner. So the rule of having rules being broken is opposed in this cut. It only takes one animation. I could only imagine other animations or other cuts that have this type of rule applied into it. You see, the thing is, I always focused on movies such as or films created by Hayao Miyazaki or things of that nature. I even broke down those type of movies, and I saw that they were generally working on twos. So there's always twos. I just never really ventured out into any other works. And this really shows how you can get such a superb animation. Obviously, you can get a superb animation if you know the skills and you have the skill sets behind it. But if you just break the conventional and not worry and restrict yourself to one venue or one mind strength or one mind thought, you have a load of possibilities. So let's go ahead and go into another cut. Went ahead and broke down this one illustrating the movement of the clothes. So now we're not really going into the art and everything. I just want to generally show the framework, and then we're going to go into the patience of each picture, so you can see the use of shadow or shading in the clothing just gives it that real good fabric view, and that is nice. And you can see the different type of effects for the sword. It's more of he gives more of a realistic vibe. If you ever seen his works, he gives more of a realistic animation flow. Nothing too fancy, nothing too extravagant. You can see the meticulous work that he puts into each frame. Even the in between artists. Let's go ahead and go to the next one that we broke down here. And this one I definitely wanted to go over. This one I'm going to go ahead and praise up the animation and the artwork and the knowledge of anatomy. We're even going to go into another section where the knowledge of anatomy comes in miraculously, and that's a main subject that I wanted to go over with this artist, is the knowledge and the understanding of anatomy and spacing and character design to keep just a cool, seamless flow between everything. So let's go ahead and look over. This is the part that really stood out, was this sword animation. Look at this. Look at this right here. Oh my God. Let's go ahead and look at that one more time. That just sends that just sends chills. Absolute frozen ice down your back. That is phenomenal. That is a phenomenal sword animation. And look at each frame. Starting out at the extreme frame right here. 1, 2, sorry, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frames starting out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frames again. Then we go to the 3s. Then we go back to the 4s, 3s, 2. And it's just maneuvering between each form factor. You have your 2s, you have your 3s, you have your 4s, and then you have your 5s, and then you have your 1s. And it's just understanding how you want that movement to go. Well, he's going for a more realistic view. So if you're going for that, then this is a perfect example. And that understanding of spacing is just miraculous. Spacing, anatomy, and the construction of this cut. So if you give me one moment here, guys, I do have a call coming in. I just want to go ahead and take care of that real quick. All right. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead, bring that back. All right. And that's on that subject. So let's go ahead and let's look at that one whopping understanding. So look at this. And I'd like to let you know, honestly, this section right here is not even a loop. This is a full drawn out walk cycle. And this is where I want to get into the understanding or the use of patience, framing and patience in your keyframing or in your keyframing and in-betweens. So you can see this gentleman is in a class or in a league of his own in the professional animator industry. I assume he defines himself in meticulous artistry and patience in his craft. What I mean by patience, you can see each frame has its own character. This walk cycle is very unique. If you can see, look at this. Let's go over that walk cycle again. Very unique in its own way. And if you pay attention, if you really pay attention, you can see when she steps forward, her knees lock. Her knees lock in a way, straight. And you can see the pants comes. And so her foot stays straight. So it comes up, stays straight, and that's where the pants will actually flop up to hit the back of the leg, giving room here in the front. And then when she puts her foot down onto the floor, that's where the pants comes back, and it hits the front of the leg. And that understanding of realism, it's good. And the definition in the character that she presents, not many people will walk or animate in this form. And you can see the little flap or the little hump or the little bounce it gives with this. Let me show you right here. When she puts her foot down, it's like a little bounce. After that straight foot drawing. And this is where it comes into the six space picture. This made no sense to me. I have no idea why this one is just left on 6 frames. 6 entire frames. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For that one drawing. Maybe it was a time constraint. Maybe you needed to get to something real quick on that frame. But it goes unnoticed, honestly. Everything is already so seamless. You don't even need to pay attention to it. And I can tell you right now, each of these frames is 4. The majority of these frames are 4 frames per second. Sorry about that, didn't change the view right there. The majority of these frames are 4 frames per second, and you wouldn't even tell that these are 4 frames per second. I didn't tell that it was 4 frames per second. Maybe because my little understanding, but I would have honestly thought these were 3s. But my honest understanding, I thought initially these were 2s. And if I were to look at this, or look back onto it, and look at the spacing or how she moves, I would say it's 3s, but I would never think it was 4s. The majority of these are 4s. I would never think that one of them. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and go back here. Zoom back. Let's see here. Bring it back. Zoom back in. And I would never think there's a 6 space picture here, or 6 space drawing. But at your leisure, you can go ahead and review that for yourself. And then there's the punch. Another fantastic animation right there. Don't really need to go over that, really. What I really wanted to go over here was the fabric animation. Nothing I really want to dilute in this, but this understanding of shadow and line work really exudes in this part. That is just phenomenal. That is just, especially this final part, that is phenomenal. And you can learn a lot from this animation, or this cut right here. And using shadow to imitate clothing or fabric. It feels heavy. And that's what these clothes are. It honestly feels like a wool curtain. It's kind of a heavy animation right there for those type of pants. But it feels, you can feel in this, it feels like a sheet, like an entire a blanket. That is a heavy fabric, and you can feel it in the animation. And let's go ahead and skip over to here. This one, I went over not only for the framing, because you can also see, let's go ahead and zoom in here. This is where he uses ones. And this is actually where I figured out that I thought it was him doing the one, and he did do it. He did work on it, the Cowboy Bebop intro. Yeah, there's a different guy in that who did this same exact animation, this same exact hand movement. I was like, okay. I've seen this before, but I wanted to illustrate out how the difference in contrast between her and him, how she keeps moving in the background, and he's doing his own animation, but she just keeps moving, and it gives the frames, it gives this scene, or it gives this picture so much it gives it life, is what I'm trying to say. It's just not her. It's just not her standing in that one setting, and he's doing his thing. But she's just constantly moving. You can even see that there is a loop here. There's a loop here. It doesn't last for too long, and then it veers off over into the side here. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and bring that back. So yeah, there's a loop right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So there's a loop right here, and then just to keep it vibrant, moves her back. He's finishing up, moves her forward again, and at this point, this is where she comes in, stops the loop, comes in for attack, or comes in for her part. And this is phenomenal work on shadow work. The lighting in this scene is phenomenal too. That will be on the compositing team. Great understanding of anatomy. And right here is another example of understanding anatomy. If you go into the details right here, look at his neck right here. That's nuts. You can see the meticulous thinking behind this this animation, or this one cut, or this one scene. Because when you hit your back hard, you know your neck is gonna compulse. You're gonna have that hard breath, that you got the wind knocked out of you once you hit your back, once you hit your spine. So you just got hit hard, man. That's a shame. But that's good. So not to keep this running any longer, let's go ahead and go into the main part that I want to go into. And this is this part right here would be the stand up and the walking into the camera. So let's go ahead and play that real quick. Let's bring this into the middle, bring this down, get a full canvas for you guys. And then we'll go ahead and finish off this breakdown. Look at that. Look at that. That is phenomenal. That is great. That is great. That is phenomenal understanding of anatomy and spatial distance. That is great. Whoops. Sorry about that. What? Let's go ahead and fix everything here. Sorry about that. Blender's bugging. Why you tripping? Sorry about the lighting in here. I'll try to get better lighting for the camera and everything in the coming future. But let's go ahead and go back to that. Sorry I didn't even get the keyframes in there, but I wanted to do this live. It might take a little bit, so let's find a good part that I wanted to do, and it was this part where she aligns or straightens her spine and then goes back to the walking, or goes back to start her walk. So let's go ahead and get this right here, and we'll go ahead and move this up just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and go through each frame together. And don't worry guys, at the end of the video we'll just go ahead and talk together in the comments or in the chat. If you have any questions, or if you have any info that you wanted to add in, we'll just go ahead and interject that into the stream or into the video. So look at this. Stands up right here. So we'll start here. We'll make that an extreme. Just for me. I like to start it out just to know where I'm starting. Go back up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Wow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the part that this is the part that many people don't really do. They do like a little. This is new age where the animation is starting to get a little bit lazy, and you just do like this little jump thing where you just skew the animation to the side and bring it back to it's obviously a time saver. It saves on cost and time, but this is where the patience comes in. If you can utilize yourself and just take the time and study yourself and human movement. Look at this. Each of these are 4s and 3s. That's what you honestly need. Moves back. Shoulder comes forward. She's about to lift up her hand. And this is honestly, this is just good understanding of anatomy, and that's just generally what you have to do or have to learn. In this angle too, this is nuts. And to keep it so uniformed as well. That's crazy. So this is the part where I really enjoyed. When she gets up, when she gets up from this position, or when she lifts her head, she just doesn't just sit there, not like a robot. She moves back a little, get her composure, get her cool, and goes on. So if you notice it just a little bit, so she gets up, moves back. So I'd say in between these, you can even see how many frames between that. So I can assure you this was a key right here, and then these are the in between. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there. That would be a key as well, I would say. Yeah. So five in betweens just to get to that point. And I'd say that is a key too. I'd say these are all keys, honestly. Keys are the in-betweens. Wow. Nuts. And then this part right here, oh my god, that is good. Whoops. Sorry about that. My overlay here. Is my overlay good? Alright, my overlay is good. Alright. Let's go ahead and bring this back. Stop bugging, brother. And this final walk sequence here. Great understanding of lighting. And let's just play that one through. That's nuts. Let's play that one more time. These are 4s. Now that I'm a little bit less ignorant, I can say these are 4s. Let's go ahead and test it out. Whoa. Let's go ahead and bring this program. Why you bugging today, brother? You tripping. Stop tripping over my vibe. So let's go ahead and research this. We'll go back into 2D full canvas. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yup. 1, 2, 3. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yup. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yup. All right. So those are 4s. Let's go ahead and look at this one here. I wanted to see that hand motion really quick. Oh my god. That is nice. That is hard. But it's a challenge. And if you want to put yourself up to that, then definitely do that. If you do something like this, doing something like this will exponentially grow your artistry. Or your performance in animation. Changing angles or trying out new subjects in your own animation and making it smooth, making it consistent will elevate you to another level. And right here, let's see, brings down the hand. That's when the hand's coming back. That is nice. That is nice. There could have been a 1 right here, but let's look at it real quick. Yeah, that could have been a 1 right here. Where it just goes up just a little bit. Like it goes up just a little bit over that point. Like right here. You know what I didn't even do? Oh my god. Sorry guys, sorry. This is my first live stream, first breakdown. Got a little bit too excited. I went through this entire live stream without even using my pen. That's bad. But we'll get better, Sorry about that, sorry. Sorry. I know. It would have been much nicer if we used a pen. I apologize. We'll get like a better color here. Stand out. Oh, that stands out a lot more. And what I'm saying is, at this part, I'm sure he was just getting tired of this frame anyway, so you could have put like one more right here, last it for one frame. Keep this in the background, keep this body still. Let's see if I'm on the right frame here. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure that the overlay is good. But keep that body right there. Keep it still in that frame. Make another layer. Put the hand on that layer. Make that a 1. Keep that there. And then bring it down. Bop. Into that frame. And you continue on with the body. Similar to... There's another part here. Don't want to keep this video like this right here. So just split up each frames where one's doing. Let's actually find a better one. Let's see if we can find a better one. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a better example. No, these are moving on the same frames. But have each frame, each layer doing a different thing, basically. An example, that example is coming up in a new video. Unfortunately, it didn't come out on Friday, but see how he's doing one thing on one layer. She's doing another, like right here. He's doing his, see that split right there? If you can notice that really quick. If you see that split. So if I were to come in here, I can show you 1, 2, 3. That's him. These 3 frames right here. These 3 frames right here is him. And in between, where am I right here? Whoops. Well, I mean, that's not going to be accurate moving forward, but all right. So 1, 2, 3. And in between, right here, I would add another frame. And that's her. And we'll make that a breakdown. So that's split between layers. So it keeps everything lively, keeps everything moving. What the hell just happened here? Oh yeah, there you go. All right, so I think that was everything that I wanted to go over in this breakdown. Was there anything else? That was it. That's it. Just good understanding, good use of framing, and sane patience. And if you can use those 2 in your animation, definitely learning this now at this moment. Let's bring it back. Learning this now at this moment, definitely you can get a lot out of this. Sorry for not using the pen. That would have been very helpful. I don't think I really needed to use it that much. And this wasn't really a pen video, honestly. This was mainly just me looking at the frames. This is mainly just framework. And there's actually, sorry. I know this is getting long. This is a long one. That's why I wanted to make it a stream, because this one's a long scene, honestly. There's a bunch of cuts put together. So let's go ahead and look at this. Not this one here, this one right here. This one had another good importance on patience. Let's look at this one really quick. Sorry about this, but this one was good. This one was good. This one was good. I can't believe this was in IGPX too, man. So look at this. 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 Look at this character acting. Sorry about that. Move the camera a bit. Look at this character. Look at each movement. Take it away from the frames at this moment. But look at each drawing. Look at the in-between. We'll even go back to, yeah, this one's good. So look at the foot. Look where it's coming from. From there. Look at each interval. And look at the body movement. Look how the center of gravities change between his shoulders, his arms, his sword, the head, all centering from the foot. From there. Look at that. Just that one minute movement can change everything moving forward from that center point. And the center point is coming from actually the other foot, the left foot, driving up, pelvis here, and everything's moving down, or everything's coming up, but he wants to put his foot back down, so everything's gonna start coming back down into that in that motion. And let's see here, he's bringing it back. Let's get rid of those lines right here, and look at each movement right here. Small, each movement's small, minute, and adds to the animation or the overall choreography. And I even wanted to point out these last four. Let's see what they are. I think they're fours. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So these are all fours. And I didn't even know these were moving, honestly. I thought this was a still image after this point, but he's actually moving. Let me show you. So if you pay attention to not only the shadow, but if you pay attention to the sword and his hand and the shadow in this, the shadow in this area, the hand in this area, and the sword itself, and I want you to measure that from the space right here. It's a terrible quality. I can't get any better quality of this. It's a very old show and didn't do so well, so you can see how can't get good source. But if you can look at the spacing right there, and that's my guide point right here, how I found it. Look at this little hole right here. I'll even zoom in for a while. That's bad. But this little hole right here that I found. And that's how I found out that sword's actually moving. And his hand moves up just a little bit. And you can also see in this clothes, there's fabric right here. This moves up. Sorry, let me show you right here. This right here, this part right here, it's part of the shadow, moves up just a little bit. And another one is created, another line is extended right here, creating another deep groove into the cloth, into the fabric. And then another one here. Found it again. If you can look right here, it was smaller, and then it just grew back a little bit up. And this shadow moved just a little bit. Let's see. I think the hand moves a little bit too. Yep. The hand moves just a little bit too. You can see the shadow grows a bit on his arm as well, right here. You can see the shadow grew a bit from this, coming from the initial frame. So this was smaller. And then it spaced out just a little bit. And then let's get rid of those circles right there. And again, you can see he brought the sword down. Just to make sure I'm in the right viewing here. All right, see, he brought the sword down just a little bit. And that's nice. He brought the sword down a little bit too, and you can see these frames. This is a still image now. So what's being used now is just the upper portion of the body. Sword comes down just a little bit, comes down into its final frame or its final key. And I noticed that where the circle, the dark spot is gone. And at that point, that's when it becomes a still image. But that is going to conclude it. That's why this one was a live. This one had a lot packed into it. The artwork obviously is great. He's a great artist, but the real importance here, a real takeaway, was the framing and patience behind each frame, each key, and each in between, and using that in your own work. Definitely a good takeaway. Every time you do a project, or especially in action sequences, I can even say in this one here, especially in this, that is still phenomenal, man. That is amazing. Gosh, man, I love that cut right here. This cut right here. Gosh, that is good. That is good. Anyways, enough gog. And this walk sequence. Oh my god. This walk sequence. That is just so, that is a unique walk sequence. That is nice. You can feel the weight on each foot. Anyways, so especially in action sequence, he slows it down a lot. Especially when the punch comes in, that's just what he puts them on ones. So everything is already so slow, and even so when you go into an action sequence, he just puts it on ones, and that's when it speeds up a bit. But it still feels hefty. Still feel that weight onto it, and that's nice. That's such an interesting, unique style. But what I was saying is, especially when you get into action sequences, you start to speed up everything. You start getting excited. You start rushing all your brush strokes, and you start skipping frames, and you just want this to look cool. You want this to just slow it down sometimes. Just slow it down, calm down, look at your framework, look at your space in between each frames, and see, all right, let me see if I can put another in between here so it looks properly, or so it has that good curve, or that has that good straightaway, and just bring it down. Just bring it down a peg. You don't have to skip frames just to make it look cool, just to make it look fast. If you're going for that style, hey, be it that way. But if you're trying to guide the viewer's eyes, or even guide your own strokes, just bring it down a bit. Patience is key. Frames. Patience is key. Frames. Yeah. This one was good. Any questions in the comments section? Any overviews? Let's see here. That's what I'm saying. With all those fours, and it still looks smooth. Still looks great with all those fours. That's what threw me off. Still looks great. And those sword trails, though, yeah, that were nice. Such follow-ups. Yep. All right. Just gonna stay here for a minute. See if you guys have any questions. We can even go over the animation here. Let's see what's going on. What is going on here? All right. Well, I have a little bit of a urgent matter to get to. Nothing serious. But this one was a good takeaway. Anyways, that is it for today. That is it for tonight. This was great. I think I got a lot out of this one, a lot out of this breakdown. This one was packed full. Good. It was good to get all those frames and see what was behind everything. Shadow work is good. Coloring is good. Lighting is great. Compositing, everything was great. Movements, phenomenal. And this is a good takeaway. This is good. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned. This will be posted onto the initial channel for everybody to view. This one was a long one. New breakdown will be coming out on Monday and following days as well. Yeah, I got a lot in store for next week or the coming days for the Sakuga breakdowns or anything else that I need to go over. And yeah, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Leave your comment down in the section. Comment down in the comment section down below. Any questions, any concerns, anything, you can always reach me with my email or Instagram, Twitter, what have you. Give those a follow as well. And that's it for today. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good rest of your life. And we'll get back into it in the other sessions. All right. Yo. You already know. Peace out. Peace out. Ha ha ha.